This is who we really came here. Eric Sheffer. He left his wife at home. I don't know why, but something about paving a parking lot and angry residents.
No, she's living life large.
Okay, we're gonna have a rap battle. You're Tupac and you're Biggie. Go.
Yeah, this is my brother from another mother.
Yeah, they look the same, don't they?
Especially from behind.
There you go. Something about the bald head.
Yeah. We all look alike. You can't tell us apart. So.
We had hair.
Hey, by the way, can you? Actually, I have the mic.
Oh,
Yeah, I have it.
they gave you the expensive one. He gets
I wanted
one.
the expensive one. I thought it was worth it.
There you go. I swear to God, we all had hair before we did real estate. So
Can I give a shout out to my wife that's
you
on?
give a
Oh,
shout
yeah,
out to
she's
whoever you
watching,
want.
yeah.
Hi, Carol. Oh, hi, Carol. Anyway. Hi, Carol. I love you. Just make sure that you have dinner.
Wow.
Just kidding. I'll get my own dinner.
You're gonna get in trouble now.
I know I'm going to get in trouble.
All right. So was that you or me? I don't know.
Oh, he's just.
You want to drive?
No, you drive. Because if I drive, I can control the remote.
Yes,
We'll never get out of here. So
He's a
I'll be
talker.
I'm a talker. So
So
you gotta
tell us
keep
who
me under
Eric
wraps.
and Carol are. Go.
Okay, so we live in Georgetown, and we started Lifestyles in 2016, and Carol was the driver of that. And at the time, she was working for IBM, and she'd been there for 27 years. And I was working as a national sales manager for startup beverage companies. And my boss had told me, and I was getting distribution. I don't know if you ever heard of a company called Zico Coconut Water. Sell it at Whole Foods and things like that. Some of you have not have heard of it. It was a startup.
No, we're from San Antonio. We're not liberal.
Yeah. So my boss, my job was to get it into distribution around the United States. So I'd travel 80% of the time, and I was gone. It was a miserable. Single was great, but being married, it's being away so long. So that was a motivation. And my boss had said, "You're going to work yourself out of a job." The more distribution I got, well, anyway, they ended up selling the Coca-Cola, and I was out of a job. And then I was looking at maybe, do I go get another job or not? And honestly, I said, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of making other people wealthy and not really having anything to show for it. And my wife was working. There was one day when my wife, Carol, was working a 20-hour day. And was a senior program manager for IBM, so she was quite a bit up the food chain. And anyway, I said, okay, when I lost my job, I ended up, because they were selling the Coke, gone, that's it. And so I said, okay, I'm going to I need to find something to do with myself that's local so I can actually enjoy my marriage. And so I decided to become a realtor. And the problem with the realtor is I'm only as good as my last house that I sold, right? And so I still theoretically have an active license, but so we got into lifestyles. We did our first kind of realm was she's the one who pushed me to come, and I said,
So I want you to think about this. Here's somebody who's already in the industry. He's a realtor.
Yeah.
So what made you drive you towards what we do?
I wasn't driven towards it. I didn't know, everyone thinks, oh, you're a realtor, that's why you're
Okay.
experienced to be able to do this. I didn't know shit about investment property. I didn't. And they don't teach you that when you get your real estate license. They just teach you how to pass an exam.
Okay.
And, I did well. I had clients and stuff, but it was a job. I just bought myself a job. I ended up starting my own company, but it was still a job. I mean, it was just a job that I owned. And so I decided, when Carol said, hey, let's come to this seminar, she had already had a...
Oh, she decided for you?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
That's
how
why I stay married.
many men are voluntold?
Voluntold, yeah. So Carol said, hey, let's come into this. And I said, I'm all in. I wasn't resistant to doing it. Some people were scared to do it. I didn't know what I was doing. But she had already had a duplex before I ever met her. She added this duplex. And at the time we joined, I think we were making $500 a month on this duplex combined. Now, mind you, this duplex she bought it for $250,000. She put $50,000 down. And when it was time we joined, we said, okay, I think we might want to sell this.
This is in the Austin area.
Then the Austin area was on an acre of land in the Eanes School District, so it was a really high school district, highly sought after. We ended up selling it for $480,000, and we went to Dave Fisher's seminar, and Dave Fisher was dressed a lot worse than he is right now. I hadn't seen
Did
Dave
he still
in a
have
while.
blonde hair?
I walked in today, and I go, oh, they must have a new vendor. He must be an accountant. And he had his hair cut, and I'm like, I definitely didn't recognize him. But so we decided, okay, we got the single families. We said, okay, we're going to go. Rich Nunez with AMP Lending was one of our vendors here. Helped Carol and I exchange this sale into, they'll talk about 1031 tax exchange, so you can defer, so you don't pay capital gains. But we converted that into 5 single-family houses. And of those 5 single-family houses, I mean, they were in the $120,000, $130,000 range. I think we were putting $20,000 down or something on each of them. But anyway, we've changed that $500 a month cash flow from that duplex that we ran really badly. We didn't manage it well. It was just kind of like, money's coming in. We ignored it. We didn't try to push rents. We didn't do anything. It was just on the side when we ignored it. And so we come to Dave Fisher's seminar, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're missing so much on the table that we could be doing, leveraging this. And so we took those 5 single-family houses, and at the time, we've refinanced all of them since then, but at that moment when we acquired those houses, we are now making $2,600 a month. Now, I know we're here to talk about multifamily.
But that's 500% more than what he was making.
Yeah, and so Dave Fisher, one of our seminars, comes up to me and says, why are you doing single-family houses? And I'm like, because that's what I know how to do.
You ask that question a lot.
Yep. and I said, I don't know why I'm doing that. Why shouldn't I not be doing that? And so anyway, we managed it. We had another duplex that we had prior to joining Lifestyles. So we had the one that we sold, and we had this other one. As we became Lifestyle members, we sell that, and we sold one of the single families. So we had 5 single families now. Sold one of the single families, and that second duplex that we had previously, we did a 1031 exchange on the duplex and got our first apartment. And that was in Giddings. Everyone's heard of Giddings, right? It's the center of the universe. Everybody should know where that is.
If you're an Aggie, you know where Giddings is.
Well, if you're, let's say you're a weatherman on the news, or you're a weather lady on the news, and you're talking about Austin, and here's the weather, here's the forecast. Usually her rear end covers Giddings. So, yeah, so anyway, not the most center of the universe, but it was a property that I'm like, I don't believe we're going to be doing this. We're buying this property. I don't know how to run it. But one of the old mentors who's retired now, Doug Crummell, said, we were kind of nervous and scared about doing it, and he lovingly kicked me in the ass and said,
with love.
Yeah, with love, saying, are you going to fish or get off the pot, because other people are going to want to buy this? And so I said, okay, we're going to take this leap of faith and do it. And with all the mentors, everything that we had our hands held the whole time. And so we decided we bought it in 2017, and had it, and it was 96% full. Which means one down. It's 24 units, so that's 96% full if you're one down. So we buy another property. This time we were owners. We didn't have investors at the time.
That's that IRO word I said. They bought it by themselves, no partners.
Right. I figured if we're going to screw this thing up, we're not going to take down everybody else's life savings, right? So I figured, well, let's do a lap around the track with this. So anyway, so fast forward to 2020. Like, no one's going to buy a house or apartment in 2020, right? This is a pandemic going on. So we ended up buying, when did the pandemic start? Like February or March of 2020?
It's spring break that never ended.
Yeah, so the 15 days the slow to spread was 3 years long or whatever. So in July, we ended up buying Lakeside Apartments, and we're going to talk about Lakeside Apartments. So it's a 54-unit property. This is an aerial shot of it.
Really quick though, did you sell your other one, the little one, or you kept it?
We're selling it right now.
Oh, okay.
We're selling it right now.
Yeah. Will you do okay on it?
Yeah. Just to go back on that one.
Yeah. I just want to give an idea what you make on a little one.
We had some money from all these sales, right, of these houses. So we refinanced. I think I put $432,000 down. Now, not everybody has $432,000 down, but this is the equity from these houses, right? But we had this money to do that. So that equity, we put in, like I say, 432, I think it was. Anyway, we refinanced, did a cash out, got 450,000 back. So we've been made whole on
Who
that.
likes that? And guess how much taxes he paid when he did that?
Yeah.
Zero, because it's a loan, it's not a sale. So
And-
got all his money back
Yeah,
when he did this.
got all our money back. And at the time we refinanced, I refinanced all those single-family houses and our personal home. So
That's what you call drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. So we've done, and I wouldn't say that first
So
deal.
what do you, I know you're like this all over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
You put 400 grand in this deal.
Yep.
How much do you think you'll make total with everything? Will 400 grand double maybe?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We'd be okay with that, 100% return.
Yeah. So anyway, fast forward to 2020, we buy this property.
This property, Lakeside.
This Lakeside.
And where's
Apartments
Lakeside?
In Taylor, Texas.
Anybody know where Taylor is?
Anybody heard of Samsung?
Yeah.
Samsung plant right down the
Yeah.
street.
So let's go on to some slides. So
Okay.
when we bought it, so we bought it for $2.465 million. We had a lot of rehab to do. It was so we did a bank loan or a credit union loan, and we did all in with the rehab dollars. It was under $3 million that we bought the property. So moving on to the next slide. It's an old property.
No.
Oh no.
No, we're going back a second.
Oh, okay.
Because this is said that you put up $1 million. How many people in this room have $1 million liquid in
Oh,
their bank
right,
account right
right.
now? Just me. Okay. My point is this.
Show off.
What's that?
Show off.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to be inspired. You can do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So my point is this, guys. Now
I
you
had
guys
$1 million in my pocket. I just
See, exactly,
yeah,
right?
just put it down.
How many investors did you have in this deal?
Including ourselves, we have 23 families.
So 23 different families.
Yep.
Do you want to say it?
How much is your highest and how much is your lowest investor?
I think our highest is a $100,000 investor, and our low, and we wanted people that wanted to do higher, and we actually cut them down. But anyway, we have $25,000. I think was our minimum.
Now, here's why this is important. I want you to give him a hand. I know you don't know why. One thing we teach here at Lifestyle is give back. Doesn't the little guy deserve to be able to invest too, not just millionaires? So why not the teacher? Why not the police officer? You know, I want them to be able to do it as well. So I like the fact that he gave people shots at 25K. Now, of those 25 investors, did everyone visit the property with you?
I don't think any of them did.
Who likes that? They're all lazy.
It's because it's in Taylor, Texas.
Well, my point is this, is right, live where you want to live, invest where you make sense. So we have members watching right now from Hawaii. We have people from communist California. It doesn't matter where you live, live wherever you want to live, but those people can invest all over. In fact, you not only, own this property and your lead on this property, you invest in other people's property as well.
Yeah,
Have you invested out of state?
I have one going on that's active right now in Utah.
See, so
Yeah.
Utah. Did you go visit that one?
But no, in fact, I was in Utah last year, but I
didn't visit your
hit all
property.
the national parks there, but I didn't go and see him.
Does that make sense, people? I want you to understand the lifestyle in the end is to not have to do work. Now, he's doing work because he's running his property. So I just want to cover that really quick that it doesn't matter where you are, people watching all from across America, you can all do this.
And I'm really not doing that much work. My wife will tell you she's really doing the bull. Okay.
Lots of work.
Doing all the work. All the work.
Yeah.
It's way better than your job before, put it that way.
I'm working right now. Okay, that's just the work right here. So, what do you want to know? Lead me on.
Oh,
So,
well, let's go some pictures.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry, we get a little wordy here.
Yeah. You get two talkers,
Just
and then
before,
you're never.
yeah, we're in trouble.
All right, so this property, just to give you an idea on the day of takeover, was a pretty scary property. We were 49% physically occupied based on leases. Now, we were probably more occupied with squatters. And I think the very first day, there was a squatter that we asked to have
Squatter is
leave
rude.
it.
Let's
Yeah.
change a more politically correct word. Financially disenfranchised Democrats.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
I'll get in trouble for that one
Yeah,
later.
the bank gave us a loan and we had a negative carry with the bank. So
That means it's bleeding. It's upside
it's
down.
bleeding cash, right
I'll
out
teach
of the
you
gate.
these words leading.
It's bleeding cash right out of the gate. So, basically what we did, one of the first things I wanted to do is the residents that were there were not residents that we wanted to keep, that we could grow this business. So mind you, this is pandemic. We were in the middle of eviction moratorium. We couldn't evict based on non-payment of rent. There were people that hadn't paid rent in over a year. So it's like, how do you eat that elephant, right? One bite at a time, one day at a time. And, at first it kind of seems scary, but gosh, you know what? On the phone with our mentors, and it's like, okay, what do we do here? And
Do you know we did plenty of evictions during that?
Yeah.
You just got to know how to do it legally and right. Maybe they're protected this way, but
Yep.
they're not protected this way. Does
You
that
know,
make sense?
you know what's it's
that's why you're
interesting.
mentors.
If you were to fast forward today, we've been in the high 90 percentile physically occupied.
Yeah,
But I can I could probably say on both properties, the Giddings property, I only had one eviction, and this property, I went to court, and a lot of people didn't show up, so it's
Default judgment.
Yeah, default judgment. But I think I've had maybe out of 50, out of the July is going to be 4 years, we've only had like 4 evictions.
Who likes that?
Yeah.
Because when you do it the way we teach you, it mitigates that.
And we had a lot of what I would call troubled people.
That's a good word.
Troubled. And yeah, for the grace of God, go I, right? We had a lot of homeless in the area. We had a lot of vagrants. We had a lot of people doing drugs on the property. We had a lot of people. One of the laundry rooms had meth in it that we had to carefully get removed. I can tell you, I'm giving you this horror nightmare story, but there's the silver lining about all this is I love doing this stuff. I love it.
Who likes the fact that we take something that's run down,
Yeah.
that everybody goes, that's the eyesore in
Yeah.
this community, and you turn around to a thriving place where children can play again? Who
Yeah.
likes that? So not only do we make money, yes, that's great, but we're also helping families out. So that their kid, when he gets off the bus, isn't embarrassed going home. He's like, I live in that community, and they take care of me.
Dave, one of the first week I took over, so there's a picture of the laundry room. Let's go to a picture of the laundry room.
Backwards or forward?
I think you'll find it. Keep going. There we go.
Oh,
There it is.
Okay.
So that's our laundry room when we took over. There was no equipment in there.
How do you do laundry?
Yeah, how do you do laundry?
But you had chairs.
Yeah. So this was a down laundry room. And Carol, I remember walking in the next day. I wasn't with her walking. She opened the door, and the door didn't open all the way because there was a homeless person taking a nap and kind of woke him up. And so she, I'm sorry, I'm just doing laundry here.
No, but see,
Yeah. And so, so that was day 2. Day 1, 45 minutes on the property, the owner said, okay, we're going to give you a key fob, and it's to the workshop, and the workshop will have the code to the leasing office, and then you can go in, and there's a safe, and here's the code to the safe, and here's all the keys. Right? Go down. Okay, got the code to the front door, the leasing office, and then, I guess we don't need to punch it in because the door was wide open. So then we go to the safe. The safe is wide open. Got all these keys. So now we had to rekey everything.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we had to do. I mean, I've got stories a mile long, and she's going to have
my
to cut
point
me
is
off.
this. is there opportunities everywhere?
Yeah.
Are there always going to be bad actors in society? And it's up to the good guys to fix it. Who likes that? And we're the good guys. Who wants to be on the good side? Make sense? Do the right thing for people.
Well, I think the point I want to make is was the opportunity. All of that was the opportunity to make some good money because there is a huge upside to that.
And if you're new, does that sound scary? And it should.
Yeah.
That's why
But are
let
you doing
crazy-
any of that work?
That's why you let crazy guys like
That's
Eric
why you let
do
the
it.
crazy guy do all the work that lose their hair.
Yeah.
And you just make all the money, right?
Yeah. Well, and so what was life like, right? As you're getting this stabilized, it's like, okay, I couldn't renovate fast, right? So, and they had this eviction moratorium, so I had to work with what was in there. I had a guy, I hadn't even advertised. I don't want to advertise because anybody that want to live here is not somebody I would want to, be one of my residents. And so I had a guy that showed up, and clean-cut guy, and he walks across the parking lot, and there's gangbangers and stuff, in the apartments, and I'm like walking him across, and he says, "No, I'm not interested," and walked out.
So you realize, you got to change the whole demographics.
Yeah. And so little by little, you can't do this overnight, but little by little, it's like, okay, we're going to come in. We have our our $500,000 rehab budget.
Right.
And I said, okay, we're going to put a facelift on this. And so if you can go back to some of the other slides, I can show you what we
even
did.
a sign and everything.
So here's a building. We needed this is building 3. We needed new siding. We had to put a new roof on it. I don't know if you can see, there's red doors that look like a Motel 6. So we painted it. I don't know the color scheme. That was blue. We painted it gray. But what was weird is you had a blue building with red doors. You had a leasing office that was green with yellow trim. There was no continuity to anything there. The sign was in orange and some teal color. It's like, I don't know who their decorator was or their designer was, but
Drunken grandma.
They let their 5-year-old do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are simple things, really, because we changed the marquees.
But because you took that ugly property,
Yeah.
you could raise all the rents when you started fixing up the units, slowly moving people in, moving the people out.
I did have to lug my toolbox to on property.
Why?
This is my toolbox.
Oh. Who likes that? That's perfect. He paid other people to do the work.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so anyway, so moving on, what do we do to increase it? So we made the exterior. So when someone just comes and shows up, I was not ready to advertise anything until we got this place cleaned up, right? So we need to paint it. It's one of the first things you can do. We did the parking lot. We redid the parking lot. We painted the doors, got some plants in there, made the leasing office look nice. And so first impressions, right? And that's not hard work to hire painters to come in and do that, right? That's not a genius that it takes to do that work. So once we got that done, then we did the interior rehabs, and we did clean and functional. We don't have a tennis court. We don't have gym. We don't have a pool. We don't have
a nice, clean place to live.
We have a nice, clean place to live. We don't have washer dryer hookups. Don't have it. The other places do.
You have a laundry room.
We have a laundry room. Now with some equipment.
So what I always say to people when they're new, they say, "What's in it for me?"
Yep.
If I put money in this deal, does it make sense? So you hear all the work he's doing, all this stuff, right? But if you're new, say, "Can I make money? Who's with me?"
Yep.
Because that's the bottom line.
Yep.
So let's go to that real quick.
Yep.
Okay?
Sure.
So there's lots of numbers up here that look like gobbledygook.
I think the takeaway here is year one, we told our investors that we would do about a 7% return. We're conservative. We want to.
Who'd be okay with 7% return?
Yep.
Tax-free. That's a great number.
Year two, we said we'd do 17. Anyway, we're in July is year 4. We're doing. Actually, I think we're doing more than 26%.
Would it be okay? See how excited he got?
Yeah.
Guys, 7, 17, 22, and 26. Just on cash flow, not even talking about
That's just kind
equity.
of okay.
So I think what might help people is if you're an investor, like what does that translate to money to the investor, right? I think that's what people would want to hear.
What's in my pocket? Yeah.
So I can tell you, I think I see some investors here.
Are any of his investors in the room?
Yeah, who's on this deal?
Pam?
Yep.
Just Pam? See, all these people you made rich, and none of them can come to the damn case study for you.
Yeah, they're too lazy to come.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Pam came.
Yeah.
There you go. He loves it. Of course, I would love him too. I'd give him a kiss.
So we told our investors, can we go to the finance slide? Next one? Okay.
This is what they really make, yeah.
Yeah. So we told our investors, I said, we were going to do 3 to 5 years, we either refinance or sell. And then interest rates climbed up and inflation went up and everybody's experiencing that. And so what I said is, hey, I got bad news for you. I'm going to refinance in 2 years instead of 3 to 5 years. And we were able to do 78% equal to what everybody put into the deal as a cash out refi. And so we gave them a distribution, what they call it a distribution, not a cash out. It's not a return of capital, but it was equivalent to the capital that they put in 78%.
Who'd be okay? You put in 100 grand, you already got back 78,000, no taxes because it's a loan, and you're still making money. Who'd be okay with that? Because I bet your 401k isn't doing any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and then along the way, we were very conservative. So we said, hey, upon the refinance, we're going to cash out, and we said, it's probably going to be the returns are probably going to be around 5 to 7%. So when we first got in, it was a big rehab. So we didn't pay out we told them 12 to 18 months. We said, we're going to be really conservative. We're going to pay out in 18 months. So we did, and we paid out. Our first distribution was, I believe, 7%. Then over the last several years, we've never paid anything less than 12%. And the last quarter, we paid out 15% distribution.
We'd be okay with that. Plus you got 78%.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's where you clap, everybody. Yeah.
But let's say instead of refi and all that, he actually sold the property. He's turned $1 million they put in into close to $4 million. Take whatever amount of money you have in your 401k, your IRA, your TSP, your 403b, whatever letter of the alphabet you have. You worked 30 years saving up that money, am I right? Slaving at that job, staring at your boss that yells at you every day to make that little chunk of money, 75, 100, 200 grand, whatever it is. And you could triple it in one deal. And you didn't do shit. Who likes to do that? That's life-changing. Sorry for the swearing.
Yeah.
See how excited he got?
Super excited. He's like,
Well,
I'm just doing it on another one too.
I peed my pants a little while.
there you go, that's it. Most of my students are super conservative, so I have to have the energy for them. Awesome.
All right, what do we want to talk about
We
next?
want to get some questions from these folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you have something else.
No, go for it. We got any questions?
Okay.
You want to give him the mic? Or? Do your job.
I love that you're in the front row, James, and ask questions. Thank you. It makes my...
Okay, you got, like you said, 30 investors or there.
23 including ourselves.
Okay, and you went down as low as $25,000.
Yeah.
Right.
How did you find these 30 people to give you $25,000?
By showing up to events and networking like crazy.
Right here?
So, James,
Right
have
here.
you been to this seminar before?
No.
Okay.
And yes, in another city.
Oh,
Houston,
okay.
In Houston,
Okay, yeah.
not here.
Okay, I just want to make sure if you went to seminar before or not. So we teach you how to do that, and how you can invest in these type of deals.
Yeah. So it's interesting. There's some old-time investors that are now long in the sunset. They're retired and living, on a beach somewhere. Doug Crummell, Kim
Yeah.
McLean,
Yep.
Those guys.
Some of the other mentors.
Yeah.
So.
John Pry.
Yeah,
yes.
but John Pry,
Yeah.
he's not on a beach. He's living down in,
Well, he's got the harbor.
Galveston.
He's got
There's
his
a beach
Facebook
there.
page.
He's
He's got
still at
his,
Atticus.
he has his
Yeah.
feet on a bench, over
That's true.
his house overlooks the harbor in
Yeah.
Galveston, right?
He built that
Yep.
beach house. Yeah.
Yep.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And really, John Pry, I would call him, how many investors? You said 35?
Really quick,
Yeah.
John, can you just come up here 1 second? 'Cause people,
Everybody needs to see.
they
you
keep
too.
saying your name and they don't know who you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything or do anything. Just look in the camera
Yeah.
for a second. Turn around, look in the camera.
Yeah.
There you go. Just so you know, they're talking about this. He's
Yeah.
invested in a bunch of deals. That's all I want.
Well,
I just want to know who he's
thir-
talking about. You happen to refer to him.
35 deals. I would call him passive aggressive, wouldn't you?
Oh, that's a new one. I like it though. That's good. Wow, I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
What other questions we have? No questions.
No?
Yeah, I was
They
gonna
want,
say.
they want this, they want to watch that debate maybe, I don't know.
We're running into the debate now, so.
Yeah, thanks for showing up. I thought this was going to be empty with the,
No,
the old
no.
guys
They all
doing
came
it,
from
duking it
you.
out. Yeah. Well, maybe we should run for president then.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric, how did you pick this area? Like, were you just looking for a value
Great question. What made
add
you want
when
this
you're
one?
doing your multifamily
You know,
search, or?
Yeah, that's probably the best question you could ask, honestly. One is that we live 30 minutes from the property.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Digital lit,
No, go ahead, ask.
no, you just answered.
Yeah, 30 minutes. I can tell you, do we have the slides? I didn't prepare for this at all, so I'm winging this, right?
Okay.
So, do we have a slide, John, do we have a slide that showed the property?
We only have the ones you see right now.
Okay,
There's
well,
no
anyway.
other, we're not bringing up other
I'll
slides.
tell you
Yes,
why
we're
I
not
like.
Googling.
There was a slide I think that said what you liked and what you didn't like about the
maybe.
property or something.
No, I don't think we have that. It's
Okay.
probably on the road trip.
Probably on the
That's
road
on the
trip.
road trip.
All right, yeah, here we go. Go back to that other. There we go. This is a leasing office. This is building 3. The rest of the buildings are over here outside the picture. But anyway, there's a lake, and there's miles and miles of park. Okay, it's probably our amenities are probably the least amount of amenities in the entire town, relatively speaking. But what we got here is location. It's the best in town.
Okay, that didn't tell me where it was.
Yeah,
I realized.
yeah. So that's for me. Look, you've heard people say location, location, location. That's why I was interested in this.
Let me tell you one of the bigger factors. Samsung.
Yeah, but we didn't know that
I
Samsung
know.
was coming.
Made it.
Didn't know.
Now it's going to be worth way, well, could be.
But wasn't there when you bought it.
Right.
Well, I can tell you.
We evaluate it off the numbers of what it's doing now,
yeah.
not guessing and hoping.
Well,
and praying.
I can tell you what our rents were when we took over, 2-bedroom. There was different prices and things were all over the map and things were a mess, but a decent, and I didn't think any of them were decent enough that I would have pride in wanting to rent. I wanted them all cleaned up. But anyway, the rent at takeover for a 2-bedroom was $800. I've got people now renting for $1,600. Yeah.
Where is this?
In Taylor.
Taylor. Look it up on your
East
phone.
of
Google
Austin.
Taylor,
Yeah.
Texas.
So you're familiar with Austin? Somewhat? Austin's an hour, well,
I know where Austin.
Austin's 3 hours now with traffic, but 35. And then so the next town up is Round Rock, north, and Taylor's just east of Round Rock. Well, so there's Round Rock, then Hutto, and then there's Taylor. So if you take 130 out of here, you'll go right into Hutto, and then the next town over is Taylor.
All right,
Yeah.
really quick.
Yep.
Do we have anything online or are we good? We're good?
Okay.
All right. So let me make sure I didn't miss any slides for you. Blah, blah, blah.
Pam had a question. Hang on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I know there's a lot of trials and tribulations during raising a property like this. Do you want to talk about Snowmageddon?
Oh, yeah.
Boo.
I had a person, this was an interesting story because I had a person that was disabled, had Huntington's disease in one of the apartments. He shouldn't have been there in one of the apartments, but he really belonged in assisted living, and I was really kind of getting involved in trying to help get him, into assisted living and stuff. And I couldn't find the parents, and I had to track them down and stuff. But anyway, I went to Adult Protective Services to try to help this person, and because it wasn't safe for him to be there. He couldn't take care of himself. He hadn't had a bath in 3 years, and he'd been there 11 years. And the mom would just pay for him to be there, and so it's like, well, I have compassion, but I have other residents that he was pretty disruptive with his disability. And so that was a really hard situation. So what we ended up doing, it just from the grace of God, what happened, everyone remembers snowpocalypse where the entire state, the power grid was shut down. That night that happened, there was 3-degree temperature. We have a freeze protocol. When there's a freeze, we have people, we come in and turn on the cabinets, turn on the heat, drip water faucets. Well, one of the residents in an upper unit couldn't even get back to the apartment because everything was frozen. The roads were closed, and she was stuck and stranded. And so we couldn't even get to her apartment. And then the power went out. In 3-degree temperatures, a pipe broke and flooded the downstairs unit where this person was disabled was living in. And I got a call from the Taylor Fire Department and the police department saying, you might want to come out here. So I grabbed a bunch of clothes. They had a warming center. We put them in the warming center. But you know what? It's funny. Out of all those units that could have broke, a pipe could have broke, that happened to him. And fortunately, it was one of our residents that called the fire department on him, and it saved his life because he could have died that night. And so what would happen is just like, it was just an absolute miracle because within that week, it's like, okay, I went and grabbed him, had a maintenance guy, and we took him in, we got him clothed, we took him to the warming center, and we said, okay, we got him warmed up, we got him breakfast. Had a hard time finding a place that was open for breakfast, just so we find, and the hotels, we couldn't even get around, but we finally got him placed in a hotel. Couldn't call his mom because the cell phones were down for a couple of days. We couldn't reach anybody. And anyway, out of all this effort trying to get him placed, it was that incident that took that bad thing to happen. And finally they said, okay, yeah, this is an emergency situation because he's now in a hotel with no caregivers, nothing. And they finally got him placed and put in another hill. That's probably one of the wildest things that happened. And I think that was divine intervention. I really do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Our investors. That's,
There you go.
Yeah.
Pam.
Yeah. Yeah, and Robert Hale and Jeff Zickler, Teresa, all of these guys have been around. Nick Darcy, all of these guys have been around to help us. And so, yeah, I mean, I want to thank all of that. And, a shout out, my staff isn't hearing this, but, we've got good staff. I've got my property manager has been with me now 6 years. My maintenance guy is now into year 3, and they do a phenomenal job. So, yeah, our success is, they're the ones doing the heavy lifting, and they do an amazing job. So, they're not lifestyle people, but I want to give them a shout out for sure.
All right. Well, let's give these folks a hand unless you have something else.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right.
Good to see you.